here the last half hour. Stephen Fort Jones, you're on KGO.
Dr. Bill Wattenburg.
Yes, sir. What's on your mind?
I'd like to be on your show because, first of all, this is possibly anti-Obama, but the most important thing is that common sense. If you have a person standing next to you, and that person is harvesting your food, processing your meat, serving you in restaurants, and that person's children are palling around with your kids, and you want to cut off their health care, and you want to make sure they have no access to any of your tax dollars, then you are precisely what Dr. Bill Wattenburg is.
That's interesting. Did you hear me say they should have no care? Did it ever occur to you that maybe they should pay for their care like other people do? You obviously don't consider yourself one of those that has to worry about paying for your care, do you? Huh?
You're primitive. You're barbarian. You're pre-Cro-Magnon.
I see. Well, that's interesting.
Recourse.
In other words, the concept that you ought to pay for your health care the way other working families do, that's barbarian to you, isn't it? I'll bet you, you probably just tore the corner off your green welfare check, didn't you, Steve?
The concept is civilization.
Yeah, I think most working families and people consider themselves a member of civilization, Steve. That's all I can offer you. Hey, here's Carolyn Burns with a KGO News Update. Jack in Monterey, you're on KGO.
Hi, thanks for a very thought-provoking show. Really enjoy it.
Thank you.
I've had quite a bit of experience with the medical side of things, both in the United States and in Canada, and I beg to differ with you on some of the fronts.
Sure, tell us.
Yeah, unfortunately, my daughter was diagnosed with juvenile diabetes at 2.5 in Toronto. She was admitted within 1 hour to Toronto Sick Kids Hospital and received great care. When we moved to Monterey, California, to the great Chomp Hospital, which is actually a very good hospital, they actually had to phone back to Toronto to figure out how to deal with kids with juvenile diabetes.
No, wait a minute, Jack. No, look. Are you suggesting that we don't know, and medical people in this country don't know how to deal with juvenile diabetes?
No.
Jack, then Jack, why did you pick this example? Jack, this is nonsense.
No, far from it.
This is nonsense. There is much expertise in this country. You may have had some doctors who are not familiar with it in some local hospital, but to tell me that we don't have a depth in medical experience in diabetes in this country?
I am not saying that.
Hey, I worked in some research in this field at one time. That's why I'm challenging you.
I'm not saying that. You're putting words in my mouth.
Well, you just did say that. You just said, they had to call Canada to find out what to do.
Yes, when she had the flu, they did.
You mean they had to call Canada to figure out how to treat her for the flu too? Is that it?
No, it was the flu and the complications with diabetes. My son also had spinal
Jack, one of the world's centers on scientific research is the National Institutes of Health in the United States. Have you ever read the Journal American Medical Association?
Absolutely, this country is marvelous.
Then why are you giving us this business? You have to call Canada. You may have some ignorance in one particular place. But, Jack, I really resent this kind of suggestion. Come on. Hey, they're really good medical centers in Canada. They're really good medical centers here. But to come on and say, gee, you had to call Canada to learn how to treat your daughter's juvenile diabetes?
Well, unfortunately...
Okay, well, unfortunately, I've run out of time, but I don't believe it. Okay, I'm just telling you that. KGO time now, 11:55.